Hi everyone, and welcome to the virtual Museum MASH. My name is Astrid Herdal and I'm the Executive Director of Touchstones Nelson Museum. Here at Touchstones, we recognize that we are on the traditional territory of the Sinaiaks, the Chinaka, the Silks, and the Métis people. We acknowledge and thank them for the opportunity to live and learn and share in amazing cultural experiences in this place. We're very sad that you can't all be here with us today in person, but having about 300-400 families in this incredible building is not possible during COVID. So thank you for being here today with us virtually. Thank you so much to Columbia Basin Trust for making this virtual Museum MASH happen, and we hope you enjoy today's activities.
Hello, little artists. Thank you for joining me. My name is Chrystyna Bykowa, and I would like to invite you today to join me in creating a super fun, unique, and artsy greeting card for the holiday season so you can give it to somebody you love. The card that I created looks like this. Your card is going to be a little bit different, but this video workshop is the step-by-step on how to make something like this. This workshop is actually a part of the Touchstones Museum MASH online event, and I'd like to say thank you very much to Touchstones Museum for connecting us and giving us time for creative play. The first thing that we're going to do is go over a list of items that you should collect in order to create this project. If you find that some of the items on the list you don't have, that's no problem. Don't worry about it. You can substitute. That's part of being creative. For example, if you don't have the paint, I used a little bit of paint on this reindeer. Don't worry, just use anything you have in your house like felt pens, crayons, pencils, pens, that will do. Whatever you usually use. If you don't have a printer access at the moment, don't worry. Instead of printing the template, you can just draw out an outline of the animal of your choice. So, let's begin with the items. Paper. Watercolor pad paper, but you can use any paper that you'd like. I suggest that you choose something thick. So this is kind of a thicker piece of paper. Found this free silhouette of a reindeer online and printed it off using a printer. I'm going to use it as a stencil for the greeting card. I'm using these little tubes of acrylic paint, but you can use any paint that you have and like to use and is safe to use. You're also going to need a brush or two, some water to clean the brushes, paper towel to dry the brushes, and this lid is what I'm going to use to squeeze little tiny bits of the colors on here so I can use them to paint. Felts, pencils, pens, crayons, pencil and eraser for tracing, scissors. Depending on who you are, please ask an adult to help you with these, and glue. If you have glitter and sparkle, that is a bonus. It's not necessary, but I love sparkle, so I'll be using it in this video. Step 1, we're going to cut out the stencil of this reindeer. We're going to be using scissors. Now remember, if you are 10 and below, or you just don't feel really comfortable using scissors, please ask an adult and they'll be able to help you. Okay, we are ready for our next step. Our next step is taking the silhouette we just cut out and the piece of paper we're going to paint on, the thick piece of paper. I'm just going to make a line on this page, and this part of the paper is where I'm going to paint. Now the point of this painting exercise is to take the spot that your deer fits into and cover the entire piece, okay, with the colors that you've selected. There's no rule of how you can cover. You can either brush in lines of different colors, you can color like this in different colors, you can make circles and swirls all over the place. You can follow what I do and use examples from that. What I'm gonna do, ooh, did you see that? There's water on here. Not a problem. I love water on paper. This is why we're using that thick piece of paper, so we can get water on. And then So I rinsed my brush to make it a little bit wet, right? Let me put it out here. And then I dab it. And then if I want to make it even drier, I dab it on paper towel. I'm going to select the yellow. It's the lightest of the colors. I'm gonna fill my brush up, and because it's already wet, I'm just going to go on all the wet spots and put some yellow on. Like I said before, there's no rules what we're doing, how we're doing it. We're just playing around. Letting the paint kind of dictate what it wants to do for us. Some parts are really wet, some parts are really dissolved. You can almost see pieces of the paper through it. Some parts are a little bit dry. Okay, so then you want to wash your brush because we're going to use a different color. And the piece of paper is already really wet from my happy accident. So I want to get rid of all the water, excess water, and dab my brush. And then, unless you want it super wet, then you don't have to do that. What color do you think I should use? I think I'm gonna go with this teal. It's one of my favorite colors right now, along with everything else. Ooh, I'm using the same brush. I wanted to change brushes. Too late. Okay. So what I'm going to do with the teal is I'm going to put it into the yellow and into the wet yellow, onto the dry yellow. I'm using it super lightly, the brush, so you can see all the little tiny brush bristles. Ooh, look at that. Sometimes just for fun, I like to add more water and see what it does. Ooh. Maybe it wants to flow this way? Ooh. Maybe that way? Oh, I really like this part. Now, I know what you might be saying. You're saying, hey, what is this going on? This doesn't make any sense. But, you know, you just have to trust me. It will make sense a little bit down the line. You know what? I really like the way mine is coming out, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. What about you? How's yours doing? I wonder what kind of colors you chose. Okay, white. So this time, I'm going to use a brand new brush. It's dry and I'm not dunking it in water. I'm just going to take a little bit of white, cover it, and add some white. Because the paper and the paint is already soaked with water and with paint, it's easy to mix. The paint on the piece of paper is dry in some spots but wet in others, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time, a few more minutes to dry. And while I wait, I'm going to cut it off from the piece of paper that's clean. What we want to do is to add a little bit of detail. So I'm going to use this orange and I'm going to put, what shape should I choose? I'm going to choose a circle. I'm going to put a whole bunch of circles, different sizes, little ones and big ones. thin ones and you can go thicker. You can do triangles, you can do dots, you can do lines, you can do squiggles and swivels and whatever you can come up with, you can do. I've decided to add a bonus step into this process. The very last thing that's going to go onto my painting is white. I have a white felt paint marker like this. It works like this. And I don't expect that everybody has a white paint marker, but you could probably have white paint and use a brush, or your mom and dad or some adult in your house might even have some white out. Everything's dry. You have done an outstanding job, and now we need to grab our silhouette again. Grab that. Grab your art piece and flip it around. Yes, that's right, flip it around. We're gonna go like this. Get some tape. I have masking tape. You can use whatever tape you want. Tear a little piece off. Make a little donut. We're gonna put it on the back of here and stick it right in the middle. So the entire reindeer, including the antlers, fit on. Okay, so this is a little bit of a tricky part, and you might want to get your adult to help you trace, or you can be brave and you can trace yourself. You don't have to worry about being perfect. Just go around with your pencil and trace. Once you're done tracing, you can carefully peel off the tape. You have your gorgeous outline, and once again, just ask an adult for some help cutting it out. Here, you do have to be a little bit careful because on the other side is your masterpiece, right? So this part, the inside part, is what we're using on the card. Ooh, this is when the magic happens. This is the reveal. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Lump. I love it! In this part, we're actually going to make the card itself. So, take your dark sheet of paper. If you don't have a dark sheet of paper, don't worry. You can either color it in or just leave it the way it is. Fold it in half. You know how cards work, like so. There. And there. Because I'm going to use this as a holiday greeting card, I'm going to transform this reindeer into Rudolph. How do you think I should do that? What does this reindeer need in order for him to become Rudolph? Yep, it's a nose. So there are a few things you can do in order to make a nose. One, I would suggest to take the cuts You remember it used to be the ad. The cut off pieces from your art and just select something. Ooh, for instance, I have a little red circle here. I can always cut out the circle and it could be the nose. That's probably even better, hey? You can color it in yourself after, or I'm gonna use the tray that I used for my paints because this is gonna be messy, guys. It's gonna be messy. Gonna use my Elmer's glue. Not too much. We can always overdo it, but not too much because I'm actually gonna keep that red outline for his nose as a red outline. Covered in glitter and the glue is wet, so we're gonna have to give it a really good solid maybe 15 minutes at least for it to dry, and we are going to glue. It's still coming up a little bit. You can put a little bit more glue on, or the reason it's coming up is because it's been wet and it warped a little bit. What we can do is we can put something heavy on top for a few minutes to give it time to straighten out. So I have my notebook. I'm gonna put my notebook on top. You see, it's now that we waited for a bit and put some pressure, even pressure, nothing's coming off. Everything's nicely glued. And now we're gonna make the actual greeting card greeting. With white, I'm just gonna make lines on this side of the head. On this side, I'm going to put some snowflakes in. The very last step is the nose. I am going to use this felt marker, the Sharpie, to make it a little bit more red. I think the white glue is just a little bit stickier long term, and I'm not putting that much. I'm just putting a little tiny dab. Rudolph is all finished, you guys. Thank you so much for following through, for putting so much effort into it. I have a message for you. You ready? Ooh, that was so much fun! Thank you, little artist, for joining me. I'm curious to see all your creations, and if you feel like sharing, you can email a photo of your greeting card to the Touchstones Museum over in Nelson. I'm wishing all of you and your families an amazing holiday season, and keep creating.